When players think of GTA 5's most terrifying moments, they usually think of Trevor's violent outbursts, the torture mission, or the chaos of shootouts across Los Santos. But one of the darkest and most mysterious parts of the game isn't about shootouts or big explosions at all. It's about Floyd and Debra, two side characters who seem like comedic relief, until their story suddenly turns into one of the most disturbing pieces of hidden lore in GTA history. On the surface, Floyd is the definition of an unlucky guy. He's a dock worker, timid, and constantly pushed around by Trevor, who uses his cousin Wade to get a place to stay. Floyd doesn't want trouble, and all he wants is to keep his fiancée Debra happy. But right away, something about their relationship feels off. Debra is never seen outside of her apartment, and every time Floyd talks about her, his voice is shaky, like he's terrified of her. And when Trevor finally meets her, the tension in that small apartment reaches a breaking point. The famous scene where Trevor confronts Debra and Floyd is one of the most unsettling in the game. We don't actually see what happens behind the closed door, but what we hear, the screams, the chaos, the silence that follows, leaves players with a chilling mystery. When Trevor comes back out, his clothes are covered in blood, and both Debra and Floyd are never seen again. Rockstar never spells it out, but the implication is horrifying. Did Trevor kill them? Did Debra snap first? Or is there a darker twist hiding in plain sight? Here's where the lore gets fascinating. If you search the game files and listen to unused audio, there are hints that Debra might not just be a regular fiancée. Her dialogue paints her as controlling, manipulative, and even violent toward Floyd. Some fans have theorized that she was emotionally abusing him long before Trevor arrived. Floyd's nervous breakdown during the missions makes sense when you realize he's been stuck between Debra's psychological control and Trevor's physical intimidation. Floyd is basically a prisoner in his own life, and Debra is the silent force keeping him trapped. But then comes the question, why does Rockstar let their story end in complete mystery? Most side characters in GTA 5 either die on screen or fade away without importance. Floyd and Debra, though, get this intense, blood-soaked conclusion with no closure. Some fans believe Rockstar wanted to create a moment where the player becomes complicit in Trevor's madness. You're left imagining the gruesome details without ever seeing them, and that makes it worse. Others think the ambiguity is deliberate lore building, hinting at how Los Santos is full of stories that never get resolved. Because life in this world is chaotic, messy, and often brutally unfair. What makes it even darker is what happens immediately after. Wade, Floyd's cousin, happily follows Trevor without question, almost like he doesn't care about Floyd's fate at all. It's as if Floyd never existed, erased in a single night of violence. But look closely and you'll see Wade is in denial. His dialogue never addresses what really happened, almost like he knows the truth but refuses to acknowledge it. This detail suggests Rockstar wanted Floyd's erasure to feel like a nightmare, one that Wade buries deep in his mind just to keep functioning. There's also something strange about the setting itself. Floyd and Debra's apartment is small, claustrophobic, and filled with details that suggest tension. Empty bottles, scattered papers, cramped furniture. It feels more like a cage than a home. This environmental storytelling builds the sense that their relationship was already on the edge of collapse. Trevor didn't just bring chaos into their lives. He exposed the instability that was already there. In that sense, the bloody ending isn't random violence. It's the inevitable conclusion to a toxic relationship, amplified by Trevor's presence. Some players even argue that Debra and Floyd's story is a microcosm of GTA 5's entire theme: control, power, and what happens when people lose it. Michael tries to control his family and fails. Franklin tries to control his destiny and gets pulled into corruption. Trevor tries to control chaos itself, but in doing so, he destroys everything around him. Floyd tries to hold his fragile life together, but between Debra's dominance and Trevor's madness, he never stands a chance. Their story becomes a quiet but brutal reminder that not everyone in Los Santos is a gangster or a hero. Some people are just collateral damage in a world that chews up anyone too weak to fight back. What makes Floyd and Debra's lore so unforgettable is the silence that follows their disappearance. No missions acknowledge them. No radio hosts mention the bloodbath. No pedestrians gossip about the murder. It's like the city itself shrugs and moves on, bearing their story in anonymity. And maybe that's the scariest part of all, that in Los Santos, even the most brutal tragedies vanish without consequence, because the city is too big, too corrupt, and too numb to care. So the next time you play GTA 5, take a moment to revisit Floyd and Debra's apartment. Look at the details, listen to their dialogue, and pay attention to the tension hiding beneath the surface. Their story isn't just a side plot or dark comedy, it's one of the most chilling pieces of hidden lore in the game. A reminder that behind the explosions and chaos, Rockstar filled Los Santos with human stories of fear, control, and inevitable destruction. And Floyd and Debra's fate might just be the darkest of them all. Trevor Philips is one of the most chaotic characters Rockstar has ever created. But behind all the madness and violence, there are hints of a deeper, hidden story about who he really is and where he actually came from. Most people know Trevor as the unpredictable wildcard of GTA 5, but if you look closer, there are pieces of his past sprinkled throughout the game that suggest there's way more to him than we ever get told directly. The first clue is his relationship with his mother. It's easy to dismiss those few minutes we get with her as just comic relief, but if you think about it, that single interaction might be the most important moment of Trevor's story. The way he immediately becomes submissive and desperate to please her reveals something Rockstar barely touches on. Trevor's entire personality, the rage, the outbursts, the wild unpredictability, might not just be about drugs or being unhinged. It might actually be rooted in childhood trauma. The hints suggest that his mother wasn't just strict, she was emotionally abusive, controlling, maybe even neglectful in ways that shaped Trevor into the broken, violent man we know. That's not the part of Trevor's lore people usually focus on, but it explains so much about why he is the way he is. But here's where it gets really interesting. Throughout the game, Trevor references parts of his past that never get fully explained. For example, he claims he was in the military, but then later admits he never officially served. He also says he was trained as a pilot, but how exactly does someone from a dysfunctional family in Canada end up with advanced aviation skills if they never had the discipline to serve? There's a theory floating around that Trevor may have actually been part of an off-the-books program, possibly some kind of secretive training tied to smuggling or black ops. And when he got discarded, he spiraled into the unstable figure we see in GTA 5. Rockstar never outright confirms this, but the inconsistencies in Trevor's backstory feel deliberate, like they want players to wonder if there's a hidden chapter of his life that's too dark to talk about. Then, there's Blaine County itself. Why is Trevor so attached to that desert wasteland when he could live anywhere else? It's not just about the meth business or his gang. If you look closely at abandoned airstrips, trailers, and old government facilities scattered around the area, it feels like Rockstar left hints that Blaine County has a history of being used for secret operations, drug testing, military training, black market deals. Trevor choosing to stay there, of all places, almost feels like he's drawn back to the site of his own broken past. It's like his personal chaos is tied to the land itself, like he can't escape the environment that shaped him. And here's another overlooked detail: Trevor's intelligence. It's easy to think of him as just insane, but pay attention to how he speaks. He switches from psychotic outbursts to sharp, almost philosophical insights without warning. He manipulates, negotiates, and even shows surprising moments of empathy, especially with characters like Michael and Wade. This split between his chaotic side and his intelligent side suggests Trevor isn't just a crazy guy. He's someone who's been fractured by his past, carrying both brilliance and destruction at the same time. Rockstar may have built him as a walking contradiction to symbolize something bigger: the ugly truth about what happens when people are broken and then abandoned by the systems around them. What makes Trevor's lore so fascinating is that he feels like the missing link between Los Santos's glamorous crime world and Blaine County's gritty underbelly. While Michael represents control and Franklin represents ambition, Trevor is the ghost of the past, the raw chaos that never got refined. His story is less about crime and more about survival in a world that chewed him up and spat him out. And maybe that's why players are so drawn to him, because beneath all the madness, there's a tragic figure who never really had a chance to be anything else. So the next time you play GTA 5, pay close attention to Trevor's lines, his relationships, and even the world around him. There are secrets hidden in plain sight about his past that Rockstar never spells out. But if you connect the dots, you'll realize Trevor isn't just comic relief or random chaos. He's a character with one of the darkest, most mysterious backstories